Section 20, Serverless Solution Architecture Discussions. 229, Mobile Application, My To-Do List. Serverless REST API, HTTPS, API Gateway, Lambda, DynamoDB. Using Cognito to generate temporary credentials with STS to access S3. Bucket with restricted policy. App users can directly access AWS resources this way. Pattern can be applied to DynamoDB, Lambda. Caching the reads on DynamoDB using DAX. Caching the REST requests at the API gateway level. Security for authentication and authorization with Cognito, STS. 230, Serverless Website, myblog.com. AWS-hosted website summary. We've seen static content being distributed using CloudFront with S3. The REST API was serverless, didn't need Cognito because public. We leveraged a global DynamoDB table to serve the data globally. We could have used Aurora Global Database. We enabled DynamoDB streams to trigger a Lambda function. The Lambda function had an IAM role, which could use SES. SES, Simple Email Service, was used to send emails in a serverless way. S3 can trigger SQS/SNS/Lambda to notify of events. 231, Microservices Architecture. Discussions on microservices. You are free to design each microservice the way you want. Synchronous patterns, API gateway, load balancers. Asynchronous patterns, SQS, Kinesis, SNS, Lambda triggers, S3. Challenges with microservices. Repeated overhead for creating each new microservice. Issues with optimizing server density/utilization. Complexity of running multiple versions of multiple microservices simultaneously. Proliferation of client-side code requirements to integrate with many separate services. Some of the challenges are solved by serverless patterns. API gateway, Lambda scale automatically and you pay per usage. You can easily clone API, reproduce environments. Generated client SDK through Swagger integration for the API gateway. 232, Software Updates Distribution. Why CloudFront? No changes to architecture. Will cache software update files at the edge. Software update files are not dynamic, they're static, never changing. Our EC2 instances aren't serverless. But CloudFront is, and will scale for us. Our ASG will not scale as much, and will save tremendously in EC2. We'll also save in availability, network bandwidth cost, etc. Easy way to make an existing application more scalable and cheaper. Quiz 17, Serverless Solutions Architecture Discussions Quiz.